Tonight, somewhere in the world, a vulture is going to land on a dead animal that's been rotting in the sun for 3 days. It's going to sink its beak into flesh crawling with bacteria that could kill a human in hours. And it's going to walk away completely fine. You've probably heard that some animals just have stronger stomachs. That's not really it. Something much stranger is going on inside them. Something that, if it ever failed, would kill them just as fast as it would kill you. This is the story of how a handful of animals learned to eat death itself. And by the end, you'll understand exactly why your own body can't do the same thing. Stay till the end, because the real reason involves a myth scientists believed for decades. And it turned out to be completely wrong. Let's start with the vulture. Picture one landing on a carcass that's been dead for days. The smell alone would make you gag from 50 feet away. The meat is packed with bacteria that produce some of the deadliest toxins on Earth: botulism, anthrax, salmonella. One bite for you could mean organ failure. For the vulture, it's lunch. Most people assume the vulture's secret is just insanely strong stomach acid. And that part is true. A vulture's stomach acid is close to battery acid in strength. It's acidic enough to dissolve bone. But acid alone doesn't explain the whole trick. Scientists wanted to know exactly what survives inside a vulture's gut after that acid does its work. So in 2014, researchers led by Michael Roggenbuck sequenced the gut bacteria of dozens of wild vultures. And what they found didn't just surprise them, it flipped the story completely. Here's what's fascinating. Inside a healthy human gut, you're carrying somewhere around 160 different species of bacteria. That diversity is a good thing. It's part of what keeps you healthy. Now look inside a vulture's gut. The researchers found an average of just 76 species, way less diversity. You'd think that means a weaker, less protected gut. It means the opposite, because the species that do survive in there are two very specific groups: Clostridia and Fusobacteria. Say those names slowly because they matter. In almost every other animal on Earth, those two groups are trouble. Clostridia produce the toxin behind botulism. Fusobacteria include flesh-eating strains. These are not friendly bacteria. These are some of the most dangerous microbes known to science. So why does a vulture let them live inside its own gut? Because the vulture isn't fighting them. It's using them. Think of it like hiring the most dangerous bouncers in the city to guard your door. Once Clostridia and Fusobacteria have claimed the space inside a vulture's gut, there's no room left for anything else to move in. Incoming pathogens from the rotten meat try to establish themselves, and they can't. Every seat at the table is already taken. Scientists call this competitive exclusion. The dangerous bacteria the vulture already carries physically block new dangerous bacteria from getting a foothold. It's not that the vulture defeated the toxins, it's that it turned the toxin makers into permanent security guards. And it's not just vultures. A separate study on alligators, another carrion eater, found the exact same two bacterial groups dominating their guts. Researcher Sarah Keenan, who led that study, said she doesn't think that's a coincidence. Two completely different animals on completely different branches of the evolutionary tree landed on the exact same solution. But here's what's even stranger. For decades, there was a totally different explanation floating around for how a scavenger survives eating rotten flesh. And it wasn't about gut bacteria at all. It was about spit. You've probably heard this one. The story goes that the Komodo dragon, the largest lizard on Earth, kills its prey using deadly bacteria hiding in its mouth. The idea was that one bite would infect the wound, the prey would wander off, and days later it would collapse from blood poisoning while the dragon calmly tracked the scent. For decades, this was treated almost like established fact. It was in documentaries. It was in textbooks. Almost everyone believed it. But when scientists actually tested it, the story fell apart. Researchers found that Komodo dragon saliva does carry dozens of species of bacteria. Some estimates put it above 50 species. But when they looked closer at what actually kills the prey, the timeline didn't add up. Animals bitten by a Komodo dragon were dying far too fast for a bacterial infection to be the cause. So scientists went looking for a different answer, and they found venom glands in the dragon's jaw. Actual venom, containing compounds that stop blood from clotting and crash a victim's blood pressure. The bite itself, combined with the venom, was doing the killing, not a slow bacterial infection at all. The bacteria in the mouth were basically along for the ride. So what killed the old theory? actual data. And here's the twist inside the twist. If bacteria in rotten meat and dead flesh aren't what's killing the Komodo dragon's prey, and the dragon is still constantly exposed to dangerous bacteria in its own mouth from feeding on carrion, something still has to be protecting the dragon itself. Because it's not getting sick either. That's where its blood comes in. In a study using a technique called bioprospecting, researchers pulled 48 distinct compounds out of Komodo dragon blood plasma. Nearly all of them turned out to be antimicrobial peptides, tiny proteins built specifically to punch holes in bacterial cell walls. When scientists tested a handful of these compounds in the lab, most of them killed dangerous bacteria on contact, including strains that infect human wounds. So the dragon isn't relying on its spit to survive its own diet. It's relying on an internal chemical arsenal running through its bloodstream every single day. A built-in defense system quietly neutralizing whatever slips past its first lines of protection. So what does all of this actually mean for you? Here's the part that changes how you look at your own kitchen. You don't have a vulture's stomach acid, you don't have a Komodo dragon's antimicrobial blood. Your gut is built around a completely different strategy. Diversity and balance, not brute force acid and specialized toxin-tolerant bacteria. That's why something as small as undercooked chicken can put you in a hospital bed, while a vulture can stand inside a carcass crawling with the same family of bacteria and feel nothing. It's not that your body is weak, it's that your body made a different evolutionary bet millions of years ago. You bet on variety, scavengers bet on specialization, and that bet shaped almost everything about how you live today. Think about it. Humans learned to cook meat. Humans built refrigeration. Humans invented food safety regulations, expiration dates, and the instinct to sniff milk before drinking it. None of that is an accident, it's the long shadow of a body that never developed a vulture's gut or a dragon's blood. Every time you check if meat still smells okay, you're running a survival program written into you by millions of years of just not having those defenses. Meanwhile, a vulture flying over a highway sees roadkill and sees an opportunity. Somewhere on this planet right now, an animal is casually eating something that would put you in intensive care within a day. So the next time you see a vulture circling something dead on the side of the road, you're not looking at a scavenger with no standards. You're looking at one of the most specialized immune systems in the animal kingdom, a gut carefully engineered by evolution to weaponize the very bacteria that would kill almost anything else. Every dangerous microbe it carries isn't a flaw, it's a hired guard. And somewhere else on Earth, a lizard everyone thought killed with dirty spit is actually running a private chemistry lab through its own bloodstream, just to survive its own dinner. Two completely different animals, two completely different solutions, both built for the exact same problem your body was never designed to solve. You didn't get the acid, you didn't get the peptides, you got something else instead. Curiosity, caution, and the instinct to ask if something still smells right before you eat it. That instinct isn't weakness, it's the only defense your species ever needed.